Hello, this is my video about PvP building concepts. I'm going to be going over a bunch today. I'm going to leave all their timestamps in the description below. I hope you enjoy. The first concept of building I'm going to be talking about today is how to lower foundations and raise them. So, to lower foundations is really simple. You just place down your foundation, and then if you want to lower it, you place the pillar inside of it. Hit Q. You can use Q to change the snap point. So there's like the one that's the normal, and then there's the one that's the lower one, which is the one you want if you're lowering it. So you would do that, and then you can place another pillar, and then you also hit Q again because it's the snap point of that pillar. So, but if you hit Q again, it goes deeper into the foundation like that, and then you have this snap point again, which you can cycle through Q again. Now sometimes this gets weird, and it's like hard to get this bottom snap point, but it should be very possible everywhere you are, unless the ground below it is much lower than this foundation. Raising foundations is kind of difficult, but it's also pretty like simple. So you just place down a contraption that looks like this, so one floor, two walls up, and then the ceiling, and then you have to look for the snap point. So for this you can't press Q, so you have to like actually look down at the proper spot so it has the snap point coming down from the ceiling, and then you bring it down like that, and then you can actually raise the foundation. So if you're trying to build like upwards and you can't get your foundation to go over, you can do this, and you can do this multiple times, but you also can't get it off the ground this way, so you just have to be mindful of what you're trying to do with that. So that's how you lower and raise foundations. Okay, so the next concept I'm going to be talking about is how to build a nice looking base on a slanted surface. And while if you don't care about how your base looks, it also does help out like defense wise slightly. It's not super important, but it could definitely stop someone from like abusing your base. So if you're building on like a slanted surface like this one, normally how like most ARC players build it, and like people I've seen with like 5,000 hours build it, is they just build it out of pillars like this. And while I mean this works and it does build like a nice ceiling here, the first thing is there's these pillars sticking through the ceiling, which are kind of annoying, and like if that bothers you, I mean that could be really annoying. And then there's also the problem of when you're building the actual walls of your base, because you wouldn't want to leave the bottom of this open, you would be trying to place the walls, and when you get the snap point down there, you can't place it because you can't place walls inside of the mesh. So like it will leave a gap at the bottom of your base that you're not able to fill in. So if someone like somehow gets a player up to your wall, they can just walk underneath and have free reign to like the foundations of your base, which are the pillars, which is a pretty bad thing to happen. So like these are like some pretty big holes. Like I can almost run through that one. Now I'm pretty sure over here, yeah, like you can crouch under them, but you can't run directly under. So it's like a slightly bad issue, which you can fix, but it's kind of expensive to fix. So my way of doing it personally, which I like a lot better because it just looks better to me, and it also is slightly better defense wise, is so I just taught you how to lower foundations. So basically you just lower foundations down the slope. So if you wanted to build a like 10 by 10, let's say, you would go 10 this way, just keep lowering it, and then you would also go like 10 this way and keep lowering it. So the way this foundation connectivity works is that if they are I call this a snap, so it's like one level down, but I call it a snap. So let's say they're one snap down. Now with that one snap, it's possible, but you're actually able to do it with two snaps too to be able to connect the foundations. And it's important to connect the foundations so you can place the ceiling over them. But if you wanna, so you can do two snaps down. So basically you could go like this, drop another foundation, and move it right there, and that's two snaps, so that still connects them. And you can see that by I'm able to place this whole area right here. So instead of having to do a massive loop-de-doop here, instead I could just do 2 snaps for each, which takes a little while, but personally I think it's worthwhile. Now it can get pretty tricky to place stuff when you're doing this, but you can always do it. It just takes a little bit of adjusting. But if I keep doing the 2 snaps down, you can easily place all the stuff here, and it all still connects to one, like, quote unquote ceiling layer. So you're able to do it. So like foundations are basically wires, but like you can skip a little bit. It's odd, but that's how it works. So basically, let's say I wanted to build like a 4x4, and like I normally couldn't build this because like look, I would be trying to place that, and I can't place that one right there at the same snap point. So you would drop these foundations, and then wait, I have to drop this foundation one more time. But oh wait, the ceiling's messing up, that's why. Yeah though, so if you wanna build like a 4x4 example, like you can build up to like any size of this. I'm just trying to do it for video's sake. If you want to build like a 4x4, you can lower the foundations and just have them go out like this. And now, while this foundation floor looks very uneven and like kind of annoying, what you can do is take the highest foundation you have, so up here, let's say, and you place walls on it. And then from there, you can place the ceilings. And it gives you a clean, nice, even floor. Although you have to build one higher up than normal, but with the pillar method you would have to do that anyways. And then, but you see these gaps and you're like, well, isn't there just the same problem of it looking ugly and I can't place it here? Well, what you can do is do this. Let's see. So large walls are pretty interesting because you can actually place them into the mesh and into other structures. So like you would place this layer first, and then you would place the large wall layer underneath here, and then you would be able to snap it and it looks perfectly clean. And now if you wonder it's gonna cause like any problems, like you can still do all the normal snap points of this wall right here, so it's not gonna cause any problems. And if you wanted to get in and out of your base, you could just add like a gate right here and a ramp leading up to it, and you would just do that all the way around. But here, I'll quickly do that all the way around for you guys. And it definitely does look like a little bit awkward that it's like one above the ground, but in the large scale building it doesn't affect anything, and it's still a flat surface, and looks like good like for being built on a sloped surface, because normally these are like very messy. So if you want to make this as clean as possible, you can do it like this and have like as little holes too as possible. It works very well like that. So this is just like a quick rule of thumb for arc building. You do not want to build near any source of water in which you can place a raft in. So there's some water in the game that you can't, because it's like fake water supposedly, I guess you could call it, because it looks like water but it doesn't hold the actual attributes of water, and you can't put rafts in it. So the thing is with rafts is that you can put like certain builds on it where you just don't get shot at all, swim up to anything that's built on water without getting shot by turrets and blow it up. It's generally just not a good idea to build near water. Please don't do it, and be mindful of that. So the next concept I'm going to be talking about is the difference between metal and tech structures. Now, usually in this game, when you hear tech, you automatically assume it's better than metal, because that's just how the tiers in this game work and how the unlocks are. But actually, in terms of base building, tech is worse than metal structures. I'll show you why now. So normally, like how most people will blow a structure up, of course, is with C4, right? So it does take more C4 to blow a tech structure up than a metal one. But the thing is about that is when you see a tech structure in this game and you play PvP, you automatically know how to break it much faster. And this is with tech rifles or tech saddles, but I'll show you for rifle. So with the tech rifle, you can shoot structures from much farther away and do damage to them than placing C4. It does take longer to break a tech structure than placing C4 on it, but the thing is that like you can do it from a distance and like have cover while doing it from your soakers. So look, I just did one shot there, and that did only 30 damage to this metal wall, so that means I would have to shoot roughly like 300 times to break it. So that's a lot. But with this, I shoot one into it and it does 200 damage. So I could just spam this at it. And then I already half broke the wall. And then the difference is, if I spammed it at this wall, which is metal, it only did 700 damage instead of 7,000. So tech structures take a lot more damage from tech rifles, and that is generally why it's not a good idea to build with them. And another quick topic I would like to cover in this, if you get to like the stage where you have tech generators and like force fields, for example, do not place the force fields on a foundation, because the thing is, this force field has 250k tech HP, okay? But this metal floor has 1500 metal HP. And so instead of a shit ton of C4, I can blow up this force field in 5 C4. Which is generally just not smart. So when you're placing force fields, do it on the ground. Because that 5 C4 will then actually become 100 C4 if you place it on the ground. Because it takes 100 C4 to blow that up. And the same thing with tech generators. It's much more expensive to blow a tech generator up with C4 than it is to blow a foundation. So that only did like a quarter of its HP roughly. So you would have to place like 20 C4 to blow it up instead of 5 just because you placed it on the floor. And also, quick tip, if you're destroying tech generators, use a tech rifle too. Tech rifles just do more damage to anything that relates to the tech. So, like, it's much easier to use tech rifle. But still, generally, place them on the ground. It's much more efficient. So the next concept I'm going to be talking about is the difference between heavies and tech turrets. Now, tech turrets are very useful, and they're a good thing to have on your base. But the difference is, so this has 20,000 HP, okay, and that is 4,500. So, but usually this becomes like irrelevant, the HP difference, because like people aren't going to be shooting them. But the thing is, tech takes more damage from tech saddles, and you actually can't damage it with this. You can't damage either turret with a tech rifle, so you have to grab a tech saddle. But the thing is, you break tech turrets with like 8 shots from a tech saddle, which is incredibly fast, and you can't break heavies. So that is one reason heavies are superior, even though tech turrets, as you can see now, are, let's say they're only 100 electronics, and then heavies are 200. So it's like double the price, but like personally double as hard to break. But of course you still need tech turrets on your base, because like to stop rock golems, gas bags, and other things from soaking your bases easily. But personally, I would put a 2-to-1 ratio of heavies to tech turrets, because tech turrets got nerfed recently, and you can only have like half as much ammo in them. Well, you can have the same amount, but it takes 2 times as much ammo per shot. So now they're a lot more nerfed, and they also do less damage to some dinos now. So it's also just generally not the best idea. So 2-to-1 ratio of tech turret and heavies is a good idea. This concept is about ground turrets. So this is a very rough design of a turret tower, and I know it's not perfect, but the thing is about this turret tower is that a lot of people do not remember to put ground turrets on their turret towers, and it is actually a very good idea. So the thing is that if you don't have ground turrets, someone can either use like a racer or like a megalodon to cover the top turrets from shooting underneath, and they can have someone walking underneath it, placing C4 and blowing a turret tower, and that would just completely like destroy the whole entire process of having to soak the whole entire turret tower or tech tape the tech turrets out and stuff like that. So generally, placing ground turrets is a good idea. Like, you don't have to have that much, but like a couple ground turrets is generally a good idea, just so they can't do that, and it like saves a lot of time like rebuilding, because turret towers will be dropped this way if you do not have ground turrets. I will show a quick clip of that now, and then I'll go into the next concept. So guys, this is why you place ground turrets, because these guys, they had ground turrets, but they had like no ammo in them, so we were able to just walk it up to the tower, so the top turrets, which were still full of ammo, wouldn't shoot me. It's pretty easy to do too, so make sure you place your ground turrets. So the next concept I'm going to be talking about is positioning of your turrets or like slash walls. So this is one of the most broken caves like that you can build in the game. But the thing is that you have to position your turrets right and not have them too close to the entrance. Because the thing is that a lot of new players do not realize is that how far turrets can actually shoot. So for example, if I put my turret wall right here, okay, this a turret can shoot 20 foundations, and that is actually a long ways. So they would get shot as soon as they came in here by a wall all the way back there. And now this is definitely like situational, because every single base build in Ark is different and base location. But basically, the further away you can get the turrets from the entrance, the better. Because that way, if they're trying to cheese it or something by like running up to it and rocketing it, or C-spinning it, which is basically rocketing it but like with a dyno, you're the thing is like you want it to be as far away as possible so they get shot for the longest duration. So if you have a wall all the way back here, it's going to be 10 times harder to wipe than a wall that's all the way pushed up right here, because as soon as you get around this corner you can immediately just run into it. So the further away you place your turrets from the entrance or choke point, the better. Now, another thing I want to talk about that's like extremely important in caves, and like even more important, I mean actually extremely important in caves, but just like important in general, like you should really use these. If you have like a turret wall where I just put like my walls right here, like someone could still potentially reach that before dying, like on a PT or something. So what you would have to do is place down fence supports or double door frames. It really, like, fence supports are usually the best, but if you don't have access to fence supports, then you can use double door frames too, although those are more annoying to use. So what you would do is basically build a wall of these so like dinos cannot get past them. And while they can be blown up, it's just generally like a huge time waster for whoever is trying to raid you, and it's good for stopping people from like owl diving and stuff like that into your base. Yeah, though if you placed fence supports right here, it would be 10 times harder to reach that wall by the time you get past these fence supports, which you can't if you build them right, and then get to that wall too. You will definitely die by then. So you have to be smart about it. Use your fence supports, use your double door frames, whatever you have access to. Fence supports are generally better though, it's really whatever you can get. But you can fit like a PT through these, but if you build another layer behind this, like this, they can't. So it's pretty much like a huge deterrent. And if you're building in a cave, the only time I would be telling you use a text structure, besides like other small reasonings, is a fence support, a text structure. So the thing about these fence support text structures is that unlike a metal like fence support right here, they do not get one tapped in a cave. So they could last up to 2 rockets. I mean 3 rockets actually. So that would definitely be better. In this case, you can't really tech rifle from right here. Or, I mean, you can push a tap a jar in here, but it will die pretty fast. So, generally, if you're building these fence supports and you're in like a cave or something, use the tech ones. They're better in that sense. So basically, tech better against C4 and explosives, but worse against other tech stuff. Hey guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll be posting more videos like this one soon. I hope you guys enjoyed.